The 2023 Chicago Cubs have been just about how many expected them to be. They're certainly around where I expected them to be. They're not a terrible team necessarily, but they're pretty bad. And it seems like the only noteworthy thing about the Cubs this year is Marcus Stroman. And I mean, that's because that is the most noteworthy thing, by far. Marcus Stroman, and this is coming from someone who's criticized him a lot on this channel, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. Marcus Stroman has been awesome on the mound so far this season. He's been great. He is statistically the best pitcher in the National League right now. At least with ERA, he's made the most starts in all of baseball at 14. He's thrown a complete game shutout that came against the Tampa Bay Rays. You know, the best team in baseball this year up until this point, with one of maybe the best offense in baseball. He shut them out over 9 innings and limited them to just a single hit while striking out 8. Stroman's been filthy, and a big thing that makes him so good and effective is that he doesn't necessarily rely on strikeouts, high velocity, and missing bats. He can get some strikeouts, but he also gets a ton of weak contact and ground balls for outs. With not relying on throwing so hard comes with longevity and staying healthy, which is a point I'll bring back up later in this video. But what Stroman has done this year is truly impressive. I gotta give it to him. Now, he's always been kind of this type of a pitcher with this potential, but I feel like he's truly reaching that true potential of how dominant he can be on a big league mound, and it's of course showing. Forget being the most reliable starter on the Cubs every 5th day, but like I said, he's been practically the best starter in the National League at limiting runs. Stroman has made it clear ever since he signed with Chicago that he loves the city, the fans, and everything about the Cubs organization, while also making it clear that he wants to be there long term. Stroman's original contract he signed back before the 2022 season with the Cubs was a 3-year deal through the end of the 2024 season, but also with a player option for that 2024 season. So unless Stroman signs a contract extension with the Cubs soon, he likely will become a free agent this offseason, especially if his dominance continues, as his price tag will of course only go up. But speaking of a contract extension with the Cubs, that's actually what Stroman wants. He doesn't want to go back on the free agent market, it seems. I mean, if he has to, he will, and he'll get whatever big contract he can get. But Stroman wants to stay a Cub long term, and according to the man himself, he has approached the front office multiple times about a contract extension, but the feeling doesn't seem to be mutual. This is what Stroman tweeted out. If you're part of the 70% of viewers not subscribed, make sure to hit that button if you enjoy the content. Thank you. My agent and I made multiple attempts to engage them on an extension. Club wasn't interested in exploring it now. We'll see how it plays out. Love everything about the Cubs organization. With Stroman going on to do what he typically does, liking tweets that can be looked at as pretty problematic. For example, this one. I'm begging you, Cubs, don't effing trade this guy. I don't care what minor league prospects you can get. None of these said prospects ever matter, unless they become established major leaguers. Funny, Stro is established. What are we doing here? Or this one. I really don't want the Cubs to shop Stroman at the deadline. Build the team around the guy. Been nothing but straight filth all season. Loves the city, loves the fans, loves Wrigley. Extend him and get behind your young talent and build a dominant team. Or this one. Let's get an extension done, Jed. What are you waiting for? With this tweet in particular referring to Jed Hoyer, the Cubs general manager. There was also this tweet calling for the Cubs to clean house in the front office, basically saying to fire everyone and replace them with other people who they think would do a better job, and Stroman apparently liked it, but it's not confirmed because I looked through his liked tweets and it isn't there, and I looked at the tweet itself and Stroman isn't one of the likes. So either he never liked it to begin with, or he did like it, realized that could come back to bite him, so he unliked it so he would not create any controversy surrounding him, Jed Hoyer, and the rest of the Cubs front office. Whatever the case is, it's clear Marcus Stroman prefers not to be traded and wants to sign an extension with the Cubs to stay in the north side of Chicago long term. So with Stroman being as dominant as he's been, why wouldn't the Cubs want to keep him long term? Well, age might be a factor. Stroman is on the wrong side of 30. He's 32 years old. Now, that isn't old, of course, and shouldn't matter what age he is. The bottom line is that he's been doing great. But the issue is maybe the Cubs feel a long-term contract won't be worth it, considering it would go into his mid and late 30s. But then again, like I said, I bring back up the point of Stroman not relying on throwing so hard, coming with longevity and staying healthy, and that's because it does indeed do that. Marcus Stroman has never been a high velo guy, and that's probably for his own good. He relies on location and movement, and it's not like he's throwing 87 miles an hour. He can throw in the 90s. He may not be reaching 98 like some others, but that's okay, because Stroman has really learned and understood how to pitch over the years. So with all of this, like I said, could very well bring longevity to his career. So, despite him being 32 years old, it's not like you have to worry about Stroman dropping in velocity and strikeouts and effectiveness necessarily as he gets older, because he's already someone who doesn't rely on throwing so hard and punching guys out. Stroman can very well be the same pitcher he is right now in 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years from now. His style of pitching seems like it can hold up and that he won't break down. You never know, maybe he will break down or get hurt or become unreliable, but he clearly hasn't shown any signs of that up until now. But the front office, one which has to worry about rebuilding this team because it's not a good one, may be more invested in using Stroman's successes to build their farm system in their future by trading him and getting what they deem to be young, valuable assets instead, rather than using this opportunity to keep one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. The trade deadline this year should be pretty interesting, and it will of course only get more intriguing if Marcus Stroman is made available on the trade market by the Cubs. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.